Hey, thanks for stopping by to Monday's Dose of Inspiration with Megs. I am Megan Silito. I have been a change worker for over 30 years. That has been my living. I've breathed it, drank it, walked it, you name it, I'm doing it. So I've seen a lot of fads come and go in the last 30 years. And I've also seen progress and new information come to light that has totally been a game changer for me and my clients. The biggest change, the biggest awareness that has come to light in the last 10 years is the introduction of the polyvagal theory and its implications for personal growth and development. And what we now know, it's changed everything. Nervous system work has changed everything. By the way, just a little tidbit, you can do all kind of inner child work, all kind of trauma healing. If you actually don't regulate your nervous system, you will still be living in a level of dysregulation and like your body's still in trauma. So this nervous system work is so important. So we now know that about 80% of what we think is actually coming from the sensations and the perceptions that the body is reading on a moment-to-moment basis. And then our thought interprets those signals. Now, if you're dysregulated, guess what? Those signals are going to create negative thinking spirals, negative thought spirals. So in the olden days, we used to try to do mindset work around that. But it's like trying to do mindset work on a dysregulated nervous system is like trying to dig a foundation with a fork for a high rise. Like, it is not the right tool. We must first regulate the nervous system so that our thinking comes to neutral, and then we can do things to kind of open up the creativity and the mindset work. But you can't outthink a dysregulated nervous system, you guys. So practice that I've been doing that I'm going to share with you. Anytime I get into any kind of negative thought spiral, I literally stop. I breathe deeply, in 5, out 5 for 1 to 2 minutes. And then I do 3 to 6, what I call sippy breaths. And I'm going to show you what those are in a minute. And then I ask myself a better question so that I can connect to the creativity. So what happens when we're dysregulated is the body goes into fight or flight. So where you're operating from is a very small place way back inside your brain that's about that much gray matter. And you don't have access to creativity. You don't have access to whole brain thinking. That's why sometimes you can do all this work and you get in a fight with your mom and you just want to rip her head off. And it's like, where did all that work go? Well, the problem is a lot of us did our work in a classroom when our cerebral cortex was online. So when we get charged and we get dysregulated, we get into the fight or flight amygdala part of the brain. And then basically we're operating on a little bit of matter. And guess what? You didn't learn your tools there. You learned your tools somewhere in another part of your brain. That's why sometimes you don't feel like you have access to your resources, is because you literally don't. So this tool that I'm going to share with you today is going to start building a bridge to the reactive self, the reactive nervous self, to the creative, powerful self. We're going to bridge the gap. Super easy. These days, all I do when I get into a negative thinking cycle is I go through, I slow my breath down, I do that sippy breath, and then I ask a question. So if you're listening to this right now, I hope you've been slowing your breath down. So you breathe in 5, out 5. When I say 5, I mean 5 count. You want to poke your belly out so you can calm your body, and just do a body scan while you're doing that. Feel your feet, feel your whole torso with air, feel your hands, your arms, get embodied. See what's going on with your sweet body. Now, I'm going to show you the sippy breath. I'm going to teach it first. Keep doing that 5 in, 5 out while I'm talking about the sippy breath. Super easy. What you want to do is you want to breathe into a count of 4, poking your belly out so that you have about 80 to 90% of air fill. And then that last 10 to 15%, you're going to take a big sip at the top, and then you're going to exhale slowly to the count of 7 or 8. Okay? Super easy. Here we go. Now I'm only going to do 3 for this video, but if you need more, just keep going until you feel relaxed, until your mind slows down, until you're more in a neutral place, okay? One last time. Okay, now, that I wasn't even stressed, and that relaxed me even more. I love this technique. It's so quick, and it takes us out of that scarcity place that dysregulation takes us to. Then what you want to do, and this is the bridge, guys. So we calm the reactive part of our bodies down, and then we ask a beautiful, powerful question to connect us back into the cerebral cortex, to connect us back into the creative whole brain thinking mode, okay? So here's a couple questions. My favorite go-to question is what else is possible here I've never considered? Right? With whatever situation it is, what else is possible? So I'm actually going into a place of wonder, which that's actually not just connecting me with the cerebral cortex and our whole brain thinking, it's connecting me to the quantum field. When you wonder, you connect to something greater than yourself. So we go from basically stressed to creation, to creative, okay? So what else is possible I've never considered? One of the other favorite questions is like, if this wasn't a problem, what could I learn here? How is this for me, right? Those are 3 questions of my go-to questions. When I've had a reaction, when my body's going into some kind of negative story, I'm regulating my system first. I'm not trying to force my thinking. I'm literally changing my thinking by changing my body. Then I'm going to ask a creative question, which is going to light up not just the creative part of our brain, but also take us into the quantum entanglements of creation. So who's in with me? I want you to post below. Who's willing to do a 1-week challenge where every time you get into a negative thinking cycle, and this is not just one negative thought, like if it isn't followed by a few others, then it's probably just a random particulate. But if you've got 2 or 3 thoughts right in a row that are negative, and you're kind of feeling bleh, I want you to do this. I want you to interrupt your downward spiral and make a bridge between your unconscious and conscious. Now, you guys, this has potent long-term effects. One of the reasons that people get dysregulated or something happens and it takes them days, weeks, months to come back to any kind of creative flow again is because of the disconnect between the survival brain and the creative brain. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're starting to build a bridge so that you get to a place where nothing takes you out, because you have a tool to regulate and move into create. Regulate, create, regulate, create, regulate, create. And the stronger that bridge becomes, the less and less that anything in life, especially you, is going to thwart your efforts to create the life of your dreams. Please, if you found this helpful, please tell me below. Tell me if you want to be in this challenge. And one more thing, I have a nervous system reset that I'm getting rave reviews on. It's my best-selling course of all time. It's a 30-day process where we basically reset the nervous system physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Most programs out there are only doing one method of regulation, like meditation or breath. There's probably 20 or more tools in there that help to regulate your nervous system and make it strong and get it resilient. So if you're interested in that, check that link out below, and I will see you next Monday for your next shot of inspiration with Megs.